The room was still. Silence. Condensation clung to the peeling tint on the glass window. Then, as I was ordered from the vehicle, get out of the car, put your hands on the hood. He pat my pockets, pat, pat. A black youth who matched a profile, pat, pat. Anxiety. Any knives, needles, and narcotics? Pat, pat. My blood pressure increased. I could feel my heart begin to beat. Okay, go stand by my car. How did this happen, I thought? I don't recall a sign prohibiting a left turn. It's dark, and cold, and I just want to go home. And now what does he need this additional squad car for? Are we in danger? Do we need to be afraid for our lives? These are questions I did not know I needed to ask myself. My friend's in handcuffs. He may receive a ticket. But who knew? Who knew he'd be a witness to the reality of police brutality or excessive force to soften the words so the city can hear you? Who knew he'd be forced into a false statement of events to pretend they told him that nigger's not your friend? He'd do the same to you, but would they do the same to him? Is it an ism or is it system? Or is it both? And can we all be victims? Protect and serve, I thought. At least that's what I was taught. But what I was taught is not reality. Can I see a warrant? Does that warrant a multitude of Denver cops to grab, beat, and tackle me? My life's been thrown off track, but wait, I'm a student. The son of a strong mother and father. The brother to a beautiful sister. A young man of color. And yet, I'm face down in the gutter, and I ask you, why? Why am I dying from being beaten so badly? Why do the police laugh and call me nigger? Victimized. Simply another Jim Crow hate crime. And as the shock clutches to my body, I think to myself, will I survive? Will I live to see 21? The answer is yes. Is there any other option? Yes. I am not a statistic. Yes, I will not be another dead 19-year-old black male. Yes, I will be a voice for all victims and survivors of such violence. Yes, I will fear none and give way to no oppression. And no, you cannot have a statement until an attorney is present. And yes, I am demanding photos be taken prior to any treatment. My name is Landau. I'm one of the co-founders of the Denver Justice Project. I'm joined this evening by my colleague Vinnie. For one, thank you everyone who is here this evening. Thank you for the space. Thank you for the opportunity to collaborate. I do personally believe that art forms, including music, are disenfranchised components of movement building, and it's up to us as people who create, as artists, to bring this back to the space where it belongs. So some of the things we're doing here at the Denver Justice Project fall into these categories. Seeking racial justice, transforming law enforcement, and working to end mass incarceration, and we do this on a local level. I myself am a survivor of extreme police violence here in the city, and that was my catalyst into this movement. And since then, for the past 8.5 years of my life, I've been at the forefront of making significant changes here in this city, across the state, across the country, and even internationally with the work that I do, and have also learned a lot in the process. So what we're here to do this evening, we have booklets over here at the table that we would encourage everyone to take. They're Know Your Rights pamphlets, assistance tools to navigate interactions with law enforcement to the best possible outcome. But we have a number of successes that we've been responsible for in the city. We also do Know Your Rights trainings anywhere from elementary, middle, high school levels up to universities and collaborate with other organizations in the city about navigating interactions with law enforcement to the best possible outcome. So we encourage folks to take a look this evening. We are also accepting donations at the table, but we are who we say we are. And this organization began and is founded and currently ran by people who have experienced on some level oppression, not just from the criminal justice system, but from white supremacy, colonialism, and all of the other intersections that we have to be cognizant about when engaging in this work. So I'm going to let my colleague Vinnie talk a little bit more about the work that we're into right now, ways that people can get involved. And we also have a sign-in sheet over at the table. We would encourage you all to leave us your information, basic name and email, so we can remain in contact and continue to grow this movement. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. My name is Vinnie, as he mentioned, also part of the Denver Justice Project. And I do want to, again, thank you all for inviting us and for dedicating this night in part to us, as well as 2 other great organizations. And also just want to, again, appreciate the performers for dedicating their art to really great causes. I like to think great causes. And so I got involved in this work because I think that it's really easy to identify white supremacy when it exists like it did in Charlottesville, when it's like people wearing hoods and having torches and marching in the street. But what we should recognize too, and why I got involved in this work, is because it's also important to be vigilant in combating white supremacy when it exists wearing a suit in an office and using a budget. Because in many ways, how our public safety and our ideas of safety have been defined have been through our budget and how we fund police departments, how we fund jails, how we fund the homeless sweeps, but how we not fund education or mental health or resources for people to actually be safe in society. And so a lot of our work has revolved around that and addressing the tangible manifestations of white supremacy, which include the system of mass incarceration and the system of policing that exists today. And so what we've done, as Alex has mentioned, is try to seek accountability through the district attorney's office, try to improve the role of independent oversight in the city of Denver. We passed a ballot measure last year, which was a huge deal because we did it alone, really, and put together Colorado and a few other organizations, but we solidified independent oversight. We're currently working to make sure that that's that's stronger in Denver. We also work to influence the discipline matrix, which is the interdepartmental discipline process for law enforcement officers. Recently, if you all saw the news, one family of Michael Marshall got a $4.6 million settlement because he was a man who was killed in the Denver County Jail for little more than being homeless and experiencing a mental health crisis. And his family got $4.6 million, as I mentioned, but the district attorney found no reason to charge for any crime in that incident. And a judge recently ruled that the discipline that the officer received through killing Michael Marshall was not warranted. So basically saying, again, the officers did nothing wrong. But that $4.6 million settlement seems to indicate that there's something absolutely wrong happened. So Denver is a city where police brutality is experienced in a way that we may not always recognize. We are one of the worst cities in the country for civil lawsuit settlements as a result of police brutality. We're also one of the worst cities in America for the percentage of incidents that happen per our population, given that we're not a huge city compared to like Chicago, New York, and some cities in California. So we have a huge issue in the city, and we need to address it. So we're glad everyone's here tonight to support us and support Museum Library and another organization, the Trans Education?
Moving Traditions.
Moving Traditions, okay. And we invite you to continue this work to try to influence the way that safety is practiced in our city and to reduce the actual amount of police violence and mass incarceration. Anything else?
I would just say part of what we need to do before we change our actions. Policy is great. We do a lot of we work around policy. We also have a history of direct action, right? So the appropriate tool for the appropriate job. You want to be able to exercise whatever is going to really move the needle. If you're demonstrating without a strategic agenda, you're wasting your time, to be frank. If you're navigating policy without an agenda, the same thing. Right? So I think before we change our actions, we need to learn to change the way we think about what public health and safety really means and can look like in our communities.
Yes.